the Horned Frogs have. Jaden Oberchrome is set to kick it away. They won the toss and deferred, so ISU will send Trevor Ryan and Jamal Wiltz back deep. It's Wiltz in the end zone, and he will stay there and take a knee. Iowa State with the football. For Paul Rhodes, it's his fifth-year senior quarterback, Sam Richardson, who is ready to go and ready to bounce back, Anthony, from a tough outing in that loss to Texas Tech.
You're right. Focus, clarity, see the defense take what they give you. 5 interceptions over the last 2 games. He has to clean it up. He's going to be an important part of this balanced Iowa State attack.
Statistically, he will go down as one of the best Iowa State quarterbacks in history, and looking for his signature moment. They'll start out with 4 wide. And on play action, stepping up in the pocket, throwing downfield. And the catch is made along the sideline. Did he stay in bounds? Yes, he did. Dondre Daly, the junior from Tarpon Springs, Florida, has it in TCU territory.
They have big receivers that can high point the football. Great concentration. Was his foot down when he came down and caught the ball? Watch here, he's grabbing, finding control. He's able to bring the big catch in.
31 yards on the pickup, and here is the youngster Mike Warren bulling his way inside the 40. Traven Howard with the tackle. How about tonight's impact players, brought to you by Chick-fil-A, and Warren is right there alongside Alan Lazard.
Lazard, big target, 6'5". He's going to be the high point catcher, and on defense, Howard in the middle. He's a former strong safety, only 200 pounds. He'll have to make big plays against this Iowa State running attack.
It is that 4-2-5 defense, but as we've referenced, it's a couple of safeties filling in at linebacker due to injuries as Warren gets the carry again, and he's wrapped up by Mike Tuaua up front. Terrell Lathan is also back defensively for TCU. Aaron Curry getting the start tonight, so depleted by injuries, but some of the guys that can return are now coming back.
It's amazing what Coach Patterson has done to get these guys ready week in and week out. The one thing I see on their defense is these kids are in the right spots. They might be undersized in the back end, but this front 4 has to come up big for this defense.
They have lost 5 defensive starters out for the season, and the false start here.
Offense, number 8, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Mike DeFee is our referee. Jack McDonald handling the replays tonight.
Small mistakes like this, when you push yourself back 5 yards, 10 yards, you can't do it against the TCU defense. Now that 3rd and short, which coaches want to be in, turns into a 3rd and long situation.
Ryan and Joshua Thomas now in the backfield. Ryan in motion, and the give is to Thomas. They'll try and run it right up the middle for the yardage, and it looks a little shy. Lathan with the tackle.
When you're on this side of the football field, you're playing TCU, you better get aggressive. Looks like coach is going to decide to punt. I think they had some nice momentum. I would have maybe taken a chance there, Beth. 4th and 2. You got some nice gashes in the running game. You can mix it up. Decide to kick the football.
Well, we've seen how fast, too, that this TCU team can score. Is time of possession something else you've got to try and consider here throughout the course of the evening if you're Iowa State?
Coach Patterson's worried about special teams. They do a lot of fakes, especially in Ames.
And they do right here. The pass from the punter is caught at the 20. And Iowa State will keep it. And they're down in the red zone. And the first trick play of the night from Paul Rhodes.
Coach Patterson warned us about the special teams. He said in Ames, this is a different football team. Punter obviously going right over the middle, dropping a nice pass. The biggest thing is catching the football, which he's done right over the middle. Huge play, keeps momentum going for this offense.
Plager with the catch on the pooch punter making the pass, Holden Kramer. And now Warren with a little more confidence and a little more pep in his step, gets it inside the 10. 6 foot, 200-pounder, the redshirt freshman out of Lawton, Oklahoma.
Coach Patterson, when I watch this defense, he talks about he likes those inside linebackers being lighter guys that can bounce about. To me, in the running game, when linemen get up to block them, it's not that tough to move these guys out. Be interesting to see how these offensive linemen block them at the second level.
On second down, the give right up the middle. Joshua Thomas. First and goal, Iowa State. The Cyclones knocking on the door after the trick play.
Well, you give it to a redshirt freshman in Warren, and then you come back to your true freshman, Thomas. 225 pounds. Beth, he's kind of a human bowling ball to say. Obviously showing that power, getting close to the goal line.
They'll send a couple receivers to the left. Thomas is the lone setback on first and goal. Ryan in motion, the give up the gut, touchdown Iowa State.
Power run game, getting your backs downhill. They have an advantage. They feel like their offensive linemen can block their 4 defensive linemen and their 2 inside linebackers. Right now, early in this football game, they get a big special teams play, and they're able to run the football effectively. Great start so far by this Iowa State offense.
Thomas, the true freshman, with his 4th rushing touchdown of the season. And the extra point is good. The 21-yard completion on the 4th down fake punt leads to the Thomas touchdown.
Got to shake it up. When you're on offense, you got to be able to block defenders inside. They get the big run by Thomas to get that power running game started for this Iowa State offense.
And sweet thing, ride the shot.
Well, the fake play paying off early for Iowa State on the fake punt on 4th down. Holden Kramer to Mitchell Harger, and that leads to the 2-yard rushing touchdown for Joshua Thomas and a 7-0 lead for Iowa State early on. Cavante Turpin, Kyle Hicks are back deep. Cole Netton will boot it away. And it's going to be Cavante Turner, one of the top playmakers for the offensive unit, trying to make a play on special teams. One man to beat across midfield and hauled down at the 40-yard line. Big return for Turpin, 60 yards, bringing it back.
They love Turpin. They want to get on the ball all over the place on offense, but this is what he brings you in special teams. Quickness, hitting the hole, and getting down the sidelines. He's got tremendous speed. They love this kid, and they were going to find ways to get on the ball today to win this football game. Again, vision. He's not even touched until the kicker jumps out. Great job blocking by the kickoff return unit.
That's the best they've had all season. Kamari Cotton-Moya saved the touchdown for the Cyclones. Trevon Boykin to work and to the air, and he's looking for his main man, Josh Dotson, the 6'3" senior out of Mansfield, Texas. 10 touchdown catches on the year, averaging nearly $150 per game receiving. Here's the pitch to Aaron Green to the 20. Luke Knott with the tackle. Trevon Boykin, the senior out of Dallas, the Big 12 Player of the Week, front runner for Player of the Year in the league.
He's done a tremendous job this season. The ability to throw the football. He's worked on his accuracy. He's gotten accurate. He's got big-time targets on the outside. Number 9, Dotson, a big part of that. And his running ability last week really showed up against Kansas State.
Looking for the fade to the corner. Dotson has the catch, touchdown, and a flag in the end zone. Went right over the top of Brian Peavy.
Absolutely beautiful pass to the outside. They might get Dotson on this. Looks like no.
There is no foul on the play for defensive pass interference. The result of the play is a touchdown.
They hook up for the 11th time this season. Boykin to Dotson for 6.
Well, one-on-one, it's going to be a tough day for Peavy right now on defense. They're jostling back and forth, but Dotson's one of the best wide receivers of high point catching the football. You see him track it. He's done it all season. One of the best wide receivers in college.
Jaden Oberchrome, the senior from Arlington, Texas, gets the extra point. So the special teams, the big return from Turpin, and then quickly Boykin to Dotson. And TCU, the counter strike, evens it at 7. Trevon Boykin with a touchdown pass. A drive, folks, that went 38 yards in 46 seconds.
Well, Iowa State had a nice drive the last series, but you better buckle up because this TCU team can score pretty quick.
And this kick into the end zone for the touchback. Well, we've got a great way to get you ready for NFL Sundays. First up at 10 a.m. Eastern, it's NFL Insiders as we get you ready for Week 6, and then 11 a.m. Sunday NFL Countdown with Boomer and the boys. Enjoy your Sunday morning getting ready for the NFL on ESPN, also streaming live on Watch ESPN. Sam Richardson back out there ready to go to work. They are looking for him to be able to adapt and to adjust. They want to be a little more aggressive today. Mike Warren with the carry, Derek Kindred with the tackle.
Getting to the second level, I'm telling you right now, the offensive line can get this kid past the defensive line. Watch the linebackers here. They get all jumbled up. They're too small to take on them big blocks of the offensive line. And that's going to be an issue, something to watch early in this football game.
13 yards on that run for Warren.
TCU stacking the box now. That'll be what they'll go for.
Warren wrapped up by Mike Tua. Down to Paul Carcaterra.
Beth, I had a chance to catch up with Mike Warren this week, and he told me you have to be patient against TCU's defense. They like to play mind games. We'll show one way and go another. He said if he's patient enough and plays off those first blocks with his offensive line, he can take it to the house.
He's been very patient waiting for his turn. Only carried the ball 9 times in the first 2 games. Richardson incomplete. And then Warren took off. He's coming off of that 245-yard effort in the loss to Texas Tech. That's the 7th best in FBS this year.
And you're probably thinking this kid broke it off the last 3 games. How do you not find out this kid can do these things early in the season? They said, listen, it was up for grabs. They didn't see it in scrimmages. They didn't see it in practices. They say he's a Saturday guy, a gamer, and that's what he's done the last 3 games, being the starting tailback for this team.
4 wideouts now on 3rd and 9, and some movement along the front. And it's going to go against Iowa State.
False start. Offense. Number 13. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
That's the receiver, Dondre Daly.
As a receiver, Beth, you can never, ever, ever have a false start. Your eyes are on the ball the entire time. The crowd's not yelling or screaming. You should be able to see that everything at time. That's unacceptable if you're a head coach watching that. Now puts him in 3rd and long. Tough situation for this offense right now.
On 3rd and 14, the receiver screen. They get it to Lazard, and there's not much room for him there. Montrell Wilson, the converted safety who started the last 5 as a linebacker, makes the tackle, and TCU heads are turning now in a punting situation.
Yeah.
They faked one down the other end a little earlier, but the punter heads back out there again. And it is not the Pooch punter who threw the pass on 4th down. It's back to their regular punter, Colin Downing, with a 42-yard average. Turpin, very dangerous punt returner. Inside his 25. Turpin telling his teammates to stay away from it. Takes a cyclone bounce inside the 20. How about the fantastic finish? Michigan State. Here's Chris.
Beth, Anthony, shocking finish in Ann Arbor. Under a minute in the game. Here's Sean McDonough with the call.
Whoa, he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free. It's picked up by Michigan State's Jalen Watts Jackson, and he scores on the last play of the game. Unbelievable.
Wow, what an incredible finish in Ann Arbor as Michigan State stays undefeated. and beats Michigan in the first game for Harbaugh in that series.
We saw special teams in this game. It is a factor. The third phase, folks, you got to finish strong. Nobody's talking about special teams in this matchup. Michigan State, what a finish in Ann Arbor it was.
After the Turpin run, it's the pass to Dotson. TCU scored on its first possession, needing only 46 seconds to do so. Boykin to Dotson for the touchdown. As Trevon Boykin makes his 36th career start here tonight. His very first was against Iowa State. Last year when these two met, it was not pretty for the Cyclones. A 55-3 win. Boykin had a big night. He's looking deep. Colby Listenby, one of the fastest guys in college football, and he couldn't hang on down at the 15. Jamal Wiltz with the coverage. How about a look at tonight's impact players, brought to you by Chick-fil-A and Green, Dotson, and Pearson.
Green's got one of the best jump cuts in college football. Keep your eyes on him. Dotson, already high points of football. And Pearson, second in the sacks in the Big 12. He's got to be a disruptor when they're only rushing 3 down linemen on this defense.
Boykin with the quarterback keeper. He's got the first down. Dancing out across the 45 to the 48-yard line. Brian Peavy pushed him out.
He's been a smarter runner. They don't want this young man to take hits. And you see when it gets close, instead of getting that extra yard, you get out of bounds, protect your body. That's what you have to do when you're one of the top quarterbacks in the country.
Back to the air, back to his guy Dotson with the catch inside the 20, and a red zone opportunity for TCU.
Well, they decide to bring pressure up front. Defensive coordinator Wally Burnham, he said, listen, we're going to take some snaps where we're going to try to get the quarterback, but that one-on-one coverage on the outside, Dotson right now gets a big catch for the big play.
Aaron Green lost a yard on the play. Good pursuit from Jay Jones. Coming up to make the tackle, the junior out of Lithonia, Georgia.
When you're talking about ways to stop this offense, you got to blitz the quarterback, and you got to make him get off his point when he throws. Right there, they brought the house 2 plays ago, but they get beat on the outside with that coverage. I'll tell you, one of the only ways to stop them is keep your offense on the field. It'll be a struggle today for this Iowa State defense.
Showing blitz coming off the edge. The throw, Boykin incomplete over the head of Dotson down near the goal line. And it's 3rd and 11.
Really puts the pressure on the defense to really defend all the holes in the zones. I think you got to bring some pressure, try to get Boykin off. If you do, or if you don't, you're going to give time for those wide receivers to get open and convert this down. Looks like they're going to bring some.
Dotson slotted right. Boykin will throw the other way. Listenby in the end zone. He's got it. Touchdown TCU.
That's the trade-off right there, folks. When you bring the pressure, if you don't get to the quarterback, then you better get your hands on the wide receiver right there. Listenby does a nice job of carrying that in. The question is, did he hold on to the football? See here, he gets it in his hands, concentration.
The ruling on the field is a touchdown. The previous play is under further review.
It popped out of his grasp when he hit the ground, but I think he still was able to hang on to it.
Yeah, again, the ball's never touched the ground right there. Great camera angle. The question is, does he have control before his backside touches the white line? To me, we don't have that angle right now to see where the ball is. And remember, folks, it was called the touchdown. So right there when he rolls out, does he have control? Looks like it's in that left hand, Beth.
Indisputable video evidence, and certainly from the shots that we've seen, I think it's going to stand.
And Listenby is going to be a tough matchup for this defense. He's probably the fastest football player in college football. 10-0-3 100-meter rush track guy. He's a stud. I mean, These kid's fast. You got to get him off his ground when he's running a route, put a hand on his chest. But again, it's going to be hard to see exactly where that ball is controlled. And again, if they call it a touchdown, they're going to keep it.
That speed, by the way, is only, what, 0.4 of a second off of the Usain Bolt gold medal winning time in London.
Should be able to see here. have that control.
Looks like he's able to use his knees.
To me, I just don't see the information for the refs to overturn.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
So a 20-yard touchdown pass to Dotson, and now a 21-yarder to Listenby. 2 possessions, 2 scores. Oberchrome trying to tag on the PAT. TCU rolling. They don't care about style points, but they're getting some here in the first quarter.
Live with fire with the rush. If you don't get there on defense, you're going to give up the deep balls. Dotson again with another big catch. And this guy's the fastest football player in college football. And you know what? If I'm the quarterback.
Florida State winning today, Baylor winning today, Iowa going to 7-0, and of course that stunning win for Michigan State. And at some point we got to start seeing, Anthony, some of these unbeatens fall by the wayside and fall out of the playoff picture.
Well, I think for TCU is they got to control what they can control. I think Coach Patterson's done a nice job. He said, look, we're going to block out what everybody else is doing and just stay our path, stay our course. That's a huge win for Michigan State, obviously. When you talk about 2 teams coming together, that's a quality win for Michigan State finishing that football game. But TCU now is in a good position. If they continue to do what they're doing, they're on the right track.
And a quarterback change here for Iowa State. We expected to see Joel Lanning get some action tonight, trying to rev up the offense for Iowa State. It's interesting when we talk to Gary Patterson and what you read in the local press down in Dallas. Yes, he's prepping his team day by day, 1 practice at a time, but he's a guy that looks at the schedule in the offseason, says, here's what we need to do to make sure that we don't miss out on the playoff like we did a year ago.
And what they need to do to go undefeated. He understands that's an important part of it. He knows that if you're in the Big 12 and what you're doing right now, you got to win all the football games, and that's been the biggest thing for them.
Then an opportunity here for Iowa State. Alan Lazard with the long touchdown catch from Lanning. And flags are down back at midfield. 74 yards as Lazard was able to get away from Nick Orr.
Pass interference. Defense, number 18. That penalty's declined. Touchdown.
This Iowa State offense might have just got a spark they needed. Lanning comes in. This is a kid now that's kind of breathing down the neck of Sam Richardson. And we talked about our impact player right here. 6'5", able to go get the ball, and he's hard to bring down. You got to finish, make that tackle. Nick Orr, only a sophomore, again, first-year starter. All the injuries in the back end. Iowa State needed a big play, and they got it.
We talked about how much smaller the TCU defenders were, essentially playing with 7 DBs. Lazard and DeVario Montgomery will have major size advantages tonight. And Lazard showing us his strength there for the touchdown. The PAT is good, and they've evened it up on their longest play from scrimmage this year.
Well, when you come off the bench as a backup quarterback, you better make a play for your football team. Get it to your number 1 target. And the young man, Lanning, comes in, makes a difference, and he's the first one down to hug his wide receiver.
What if there was a bank that didn't just ask members to save, but also helped them to save? That allowed families to keep more.
The bench and the strike, 74 yards to Alan Lazard, the pride of nearby Ankeny, Iowa, making his mark. And they will go for the onside kick, and it's batted down inside the 40-yard line. Trevor Ryan. And I think the officials are going to look to see if Iowa State touched the ball before it went 10 yards. As it stands right now, it's Cyclone football.
Yeah, this one might not take that long. Obviously, Coach Patterson, we talked about it all week, special teams in Ames. They're going to do a lot of stuff to try to flip the field to give themselves a chance.
Illegally touching the ball by the kicking team prior to the ball going 10 yards. By rule, the receiving team gets the ball at the spot of the illegal touch. First down.
It's go back the kick from the 35, so he can't touch it till it gets to the 45, and it was about a couple of yards short. It was Trevor Ryan who got there first and was the guy that recovered it, but illegal touch.
And you know what? That's unfortunate, because you talk about those opportunities. You know, you work on those plays all week in practice to get it perfect. And when you get those opportunities, Ryan obviously has to know the ball's got to go 10 yards. He clearly touches it. And again, TCU's on call right now on special teams. Two plays against them. The first one that didn't work out. The second one now, they need to keep their eye on this team.
As if Boykin needed a short field. Well, he's got one. He's looking to get 6 in a hurry. Dotson with the catch, the extension, and the grab at the 20, and he may have gotten the wind knocked out of him by Cotton Moya.
If you get pressed, you can't slip as a DB. Nigel Tribune right there, not very good in coverage. And when you're going against the top receiver in college football, you better get your hands on him, because if you don't, he's going to make a big play.
Dotson had to stretch way out to haul that in. That kind of opened up his midsection. Cotton Moya with the stick to try and jar the ball loose. And Josh was able to hang on as the athletic trainers yards and a touchdown reception here tonight. Extended to make a catch and exposed his midsection in doing so, and got hit pretty good. And now pops back up and will trot over across the way to the TCU sideline.
Again, well, you wonder when you get hit in that open area, one, you get the wind knocked out of you, but for me, you worry about that ribs. That's an area you want to protect. One good thing about it is his bicep came over his chest there, made it get that extra cushion he needed. Ran off pretty good, so hopefully we'll see him back in this football game.
Jalen Austin will replace him. 2 receivers to each side. The fake to Nixon. Boykin will keep it. Dotson, Turpin, and Nixon. They're 3 playmakers that they wanted to try and get a lot of touches for tonight.
And we hope he's okay. He's been a huge impact with this offense. Is all about what they do.
Turpin puts his head down around the 10. Did the ball pop out? Or was it simply taken away by Nigel Tribune? And the turnover for Iowa State. And now it is Cavante Turpin injured on the play.
Yeah, Nigel Tribune gets a chance to redeem himself here. Makes the big hit, pulls the ball out against Turpin. Again, Turpin not known for being a running back. In that toss action to the outside, clearly pulls it out before his knees down. The question is the impact of that hit against Turpin, and right now he's still down.
Sitting on perhaps a turnover right here for Iowa State. Let's get a studio update.
All right, Beth, Anthony, time for the Taco Bell studio update. Following that crazy Michigan game on ESPN, it's Florida and LSU, and Treon Harris strikes first to Jake McGee. Now let's see what Leonard Fournette can do against that Florida defense, but it's 7-0 Gators.
Thank you, Chris. Another matchup there of a couple of unbeaten teams tonight in the SEC. Tremendous start for the Gators, and of course Leonard Fournette, another guy that is mentioned as the Heisman front runner, along with Trevon Boykin here for TCU. The bigger problem right now for Gary Patterson, we talked about the 3 playmakers, Dotson, Turpin, and Nixon. Dotson is on the sideline right now with an injury, and Turpin is the guy down on the field.
You're exactly right, and I talked to Doug Meacham before the game, and he said, listen, we're trying to get these kids the ball as many times as possible. When you lose some of your best players, be tough to trust the other players, and right there it's, again, that contact. It could be a shoulder. Again, it's hard to tell exactly what happened to Turpin there. The one thing I tell you, the ball came out, and they're going to have a change of possession.
Turpin and Dotson have already combined for 179 yards in this first quarter, only 10 minutes into the game for TCU. Dotson has a touchdown catch. Turpin had the long punt return to set up a score. Unfortunately for TCU and Horned Frog fans, this is something they have seen too much of on the defensive side of the ball throughout the year. We talked about they've already lost 5 guys for the season on the defensive side. They had a couple of other defensive players that have returned from injury. Dotson still has his helmet in his hand on the sideline, which is usually a good sign that it's not a serious upper body injury. Turpin is now sitting up. Cavante is the true freshman from Monroe, Louisiana, and they will not bring him back to the sideline. They will walk him right back towards the locker room. Let's go down to the field now. Paul Carcaterra with an update on Dotson.
Josh Dotson, top 5 statistically in almost every major category for wide receivers nationally. It's actually, Anthony, not his rib area or his midsection. It's his right hip. I'll let you know when I hear more on that superstar, as well as the freshman, Cavante Turpin.
And that's interesting because if it's his hip and you're talking wide receivers coming out of breaks, running routes, be tough maybe for him to come back. Paul, stay on top of that, see if he gets back in this football game.
Well, after landing through the long touchdown pass, it is back to Sam Richardson at quarterback. Off of a turnover here in the red zone for Iowa State, the Turpin fumble. And a little crossing route underneath to Juwan Wesley. Let's go back to the Dotson injury. Is it when he lands?
Yeah, I would say a lot of force going on there. Could be a hip pointer. Again, that's an area, of course, that's crucial. Wide receivers move. He's working it out on the sidelines now on that bike. See if he can kind of get it going again and return.
Nick Warren with the carry. Big effort against Texas Tech. Their first 200-yard rushing game in 14 years here at Iowa State. And the last 3 games for the youngster, he's been over 100.
Iowa State needs to take advantage of this turnover, get themselves a long drive down the football field, keep this TCU defense on the field.
I'll go back to Warren, his 7th carry. They have gotten 132 yards here in the first quarter. Wilson and Aaron Curry with the tackle. The goal, Paul Rhodes was talking to us, and Mark Mangino, the offensive coordinator, they need to be more productive on first downs tonight than they were against Tech.
And that play right there, they had a run-pass option. The box is full. A lot of guys at the line of scrimmage. To me, maybe you don't check to the run. You go to the pass. They decide to run into it against a defense with TCU that's going to try to stop the run.
Play action. Staying in the pocket. Throwing for Lazard. Got behind the defender. Another spin move after the catch. Gets him down inside the 40-yard line and a 38-yard strike.
Right now they have a mismatch problem with number 18, Nick Orr, on the outside cornerback. And again, Lazard, number 1, too quick off the ball, getting past the defender, and to a nice pass to get it in his hands. Right now that separation is big. Something to keep an eye on here moving through the game.
We're defending on Lazard, Anthony, to the bottom of the screen. They look that way to the bubble. Wesley shouldered out of bounds at the 32. He is 5th in the Big 12 in catches and receiving yards this season. He's got a catch in all 17 of his career games, a sophomore out of Urbandale, Iowa.
He's their best all-around receiver as far as catching the ball, running after the catch, getting in the open spaces. They'll mix him up, use him everywhere, but he's going to be that one single target on the outside with that one-on-one coverage most of the day.
He's also a legacy. His father, Kevin, a former player on the defensive side of the ball here at Iowa State. Back to Warren, trying to get off the left side. May have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. Wrapped up by Tevin Lawson.
And when you complete those outside balls, what it does is it pulls players out of the box for TCU's defense. So when that safety now's in the box, he won't be there as much because they give that presence on the outside with number 5, Lazard.
They pick up the first down to keep it moving. Remember, this was a drive that started off with a turnover way back inside their own red zone.
Again, linebackers up close to the box. To me, good opportunity to check. If they're out, you run.
Richardson looking left the whole way, incomplete. Intended for Quentin Bundridge. Again, they were picking on Nick Orr.
And they had it. It's open. You know, Richardson right now, completion percentage. Coming off last game, he was only 47%. He needs to be more accurate. We already seen Lanning come in, make a big play. Richardson, one of the premier quarterbacks to play at this program, has to step up, 5-year senior, and make that play.
He's 5 for 7, 87 yards, over 300 yards of combined total offense for these two teams here in the first quarter. And Richardson saw something he didn't like on the other side. He'll take the timeout. Iowa State on the move, looking for the lead on undefeated TCU. 3 in a row. Not certain if Odell Beckham will be good to go for that game on Monday night. 63 yards, a drive that started back on their own 9-yard line for Iowa State. Looking to cash in on the takeaway to the end zone. Did he hang on through the catch? Bundridge. And I believe they're going to say Orr got the interception as it went out of bounds.
Wow.
For the touchback.
The ruling on the field is an interception in the end zone for a touchback.
Ball was thrown outside. Bundridge gets the catch, brings it down. He's got to complete the catch. Rolls over, the ball falls out. Now, if he falls to the ground, the ball is not in his possession. He didn't complete the catch. Heading into the end zone, that'll be the question right now. And Orr obviously landing with the ball out of bounds wouldn't be an interception.
Does he complete the catch and then get it stripped away? Officials are going to have to look at this and determine, well, where do we think the catch ends? It looks like Bundridge has it, and then when Orr comes over the top of him and pulls it out of his grasp, the other thing too is Nick Orr, I don't believe, ever lands inbounds with possession of the ball.
Yeah, he was definitely out of bounds, so it's not going to be an interception for sure. The question is you have control to complete the catch. That's what they'll have to see on this.
This is a unique one because usually through the catch means that somebody loses possession of it, not that it's taken away from them. Iowa State fans, they are all referees right now, and they are calling for a touchdown.
Again, when you're catching the football and you're in the end zone or anywhere and you're falling out and you're coming down on the ground, especially when you're about to catch a touchdown, you got to complete the catch all the way down. The question is right here, he has possession, he comes down.
I don't think that's a bobble until Orr's knee hits his arm.
Well, it looks like he's bobbling it there on that view there on the ground with his elbow popping up. This will be close. But again, you got to complete that catch all the way down. And if they see any movement on that football, and of course it does fly out eventually as he completely rolls over, that'll be what they'll decide.
They need indisputable video evidence to change the call, which on the field, the call was interception touchback.
Right.
TCU ball. Down to Paul.
Beth, I'm 5 feet from Gary Patterson, and he's signaling touchdown to his defense.
It's definitely not an interception, Beth. That's for sure. That'll be changed. It's really going to come down to, was the catch completely in the possession all the way down and completed?
Well, this was a second down pass play. If they just, here's
After
the
further
call.
review, as the receiver was going to the ground out of bounds, the ball came loose. It's an incomplete pass. Third down and 10 at the 28-yard line.
Again, complete the possession as a receiver. You can see the ball slightly moving, and of course it comes out. You got to go from front to finish. Remember Calvin Johnson in the NFL a couple years ago. Again, he's got it, comes down right there, he bobbles it. You got to complete that catch. Fortunately for Iowa State, it's not an interception, so perfectly placed ball. Bumbridge not able to hold on. Now third and long here, an opportunity to move this offense again.
Could be a huge play right there for Iowa State that was on the verge of taking the lead. And then TCU thought momentarily it was their football. And now on third down, Richardson scrambles, throws, and it's caught at the 10-yard line. Bundridge weaving his way inside the 5. First and goal, Cyclones.
Just watching that play, to myself I was saying, Sam, you got to run the football, but the young man keeps his eyes down the field, and that's the difference. And Bumbridge makes up for that drop on the outside of the end zone with the big catch, get him first and goal. Huge play, great job by Richardson of keeping his eyes on his receiver.
He is now 6 for 9, 111 yards, 5 plays already of better than 20 yards. And another touchdown. And this one will stand, and the Cyclones have the lead on undefeated TCU.
Right now, Iowa State's offense is matching the TCU offense. They're putting drives together. They made some plays on special teams to help them get in the situation. They get a turnover when they need it. You have to do things like that versus this TCU team to change the tide of the game, and right now they've been able to do that and grasp a lead in the first quarter.
A 91-yard drive capped off by the Warren 4-yard touchdown run. And for Iowa State, you get the takeaway and you make them pay, and a 7-point lead off of the fumble recovery in their own red zone. They go the distance.
Watch Richardson right now, stay with it. His eyes, he could have ran early, he keeps him downfield. Great ball position, that's a strike. Look at that, right through the defensive arms. And again, you got receivers that are 6'5". You got Bumbridge, 6'2". These guys can make plays, and listen, when you start passing the ball and have success, the seams open up in the running game, and that man right there, Mike Warren, can tote the rock.
9 carries, 39 yards, and a touchdown. They have scored on 3 of their first 4 possessions. They have run up 262 yards of total offense in the first quarter. And they've got the faithful here in Ames on their feet, and you can feel the hope in the house right now. Is it another upset in the making for the Cyclones? It's been a while. 3 years, in fact, since they've knocked off a ranked team. 12 consecutive losses. Rico Evans is the new return man after the injury to Turpin. Also got Notre Dame and SC playing tonight. For an update, here's Chris.
Yeah, Beth, it's been a tough week for USC on the road in South Bend, but Cody Kessler gets them on the board here first, keeping it, giving the Trojans the early lead. But on the very next play, Notre Dame comes fighting back. Will Fuller from 75 yards takes this Deshaun Kaiser pass and takes it to the house. 7-7 right now, ND and SC in South Bend.
Thank you, Chris. What a big one that is for not only the Fighting Irish with the 1 loss, but SC, all the troubles this week as the pass is incomplete. Steve Sarkisian fired at Southern Cal, and so also Randy Edsel fired at Maryland, and the head ball coach leaving South Carolina. He got some job openings out there, Anthony.
There are some there's no question. South Carolina, I really like a couple guys. Rich Bisaccia, the NFL's got SEC ties on the NFL side. Rich Rodriguez, his name's going to pop up. How about Justin Fuentes and the job he's did at Memphis? He's going to be a candidate for sure for that South Carolina job.
Iowa State
Big
takes the
upset
second time out of the half.
Over Ole Miss today as Memphis stays undefeated. Bisaccia's an NFL guy, right, that you're familiar with?
He is, and he's under the David Cutcliffe tree at Ole Miss. Did some years in the SEC, and to me, he's great with players. You know, special team coaches have a unique built team building with those guys because they're around even the younger players in the NFL. You start in a special team, so he has that adaptation with players getting together. Right now, he's a special teams coach for the Dallas Cowboys, so I know he's going to throw his name out there. You look at USC on the West Coast. Chip Kelly's obviously going to be a guy in the NFL. Kyle Whittingham, maybe Utah. You know, he's looking for a bigger opportunity. Always tough to keep coaches in Utah with the salaries, and he's obviously got some recognition and some deservance of his coaching abilities up in Utah.
Going to be a lot going on in the offseason. Of course, Urban Meyer had great success at Utah. Ron Meyer before that. And now Whittingham for a while. Boykin reverses direction. Chased out of bounds around the 36-yard line by Brian Peavy and a 5-yard gain. Boykin is coming off the best rushing game of his career in that comeback win against K-State. And he ran for 124 yards and scored a couple times.
One thing about TCU, folks, is the scoreboard doesn't matter. It is the first quarter. It doesn't matter what they were down 14, 17 points
18.
against 18 points against Kansas State. So that's not something they're interested in. They're going to continue to run their offense. You got to step up on defense and make some stops and plays. And right now, Iowa State's created some turnovers early.
On third down, Boykin takes a hit as he releases deep to Listenby, and he makes the catch at the 25. You don't have Dotson in the game right now. You don't have Turpin in the game, so he looks to the speedster.
Yeah, he's the fastest player, but I'll tell you, that's a contested catch. Those are the things you have to defend as a defensive back. Wiltz has to be able to get his hands in there and knock that away. When you're that close on the wide receivers, if you don't make those plays, TCU is going to come down with 50% of those contested balls.
Receiver screen down to the 15-yard line. That's Jarrison Stewart, the freshman out of Mesquite, Texas. Good block by Desmond White to spring him.
Yeah, you see Stewart in there, 81. Jawan Story's replacing Dotson right now on the outside. So they got some new faces on offense right now for this quarterback.
Green, the offset back. They'll go back to Stewart. Slips a tackle. Knocked out around the 10-yard line. That was Levi Peters who had a shot at him for a loss. Final 40 seconds of this first quarter. It has been a wild one. 35 points, ... and counting, perhaps, for TCU. Green, stuffed in the backfield. What a job by Big 98. Trent Taylor, he ran right over the O-lineman to get to the ball carrier.
Oh, when you tie it all in, if this quarter ends the way it is, with that play, that's a huge way to end the first quarter. Some high flying back and forth by both teams. Iowa State, though, can they keep the intensity for 3 more?
That'll take care of a very busy first quarter, which saw some trick plays and a lot of touchdowns. The fake punt on 4th down for Iowa State. They showed their hand early. 470 went over the last time they were in the red zone back in the first quarter. Boykin to the end zone, wide open, touchdown. Goes to his tight end, Charlie Reed, the sophomore out of Fort Worth. And a PAT away from tying it up. Anthony, you ever this wide open in your career?
Utilizing all your weapons. You know, you got some top-tier receivers down. The playbook is obviously deep for Doug Meacham in this offense, and they're utilizing other players.
So despite the fact they were without Dotson or Turpin on that drive, Boykin with his third touchdown pass of the first half. Boykin is back out now on the sideline after a brief stint in the locker room. And Boykin easily finds his man, Anthony.
Yeah, there's no question. They're going to run the tight ends. Merck is going to run out here, and then Reed's going to come inside, and this strong safety is going to chase, and it's going to be wide open for the inside tight end. Watch this. Nice job. Middle linebacker doesn't run back into space. Watch Boykin sell it with his eyes, pull the safety, comes back over the middle, wide open. Again, the playbook is deep for this football team. They'll throw the ball to anybody. And right now, 11-for-14, 203 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 different receivers. Oh, and guess what? We only have 14 minutes left in the second quarter. It's a long game right now.
Down to Paul.
Anthony, do you remember pregame we spoke to Doug Meacham, offensive coordinator? He said balanced offense is not all about run pass. It's about getting as many players involved.
You're right, and he's gone deep with Reed. RPOs, he calls it, run pass option. Sometimes it's a run, sometimes it's a pass, but it's up to the quarterback to make the read, and that's been the biggest adjustment Boykin's made over from this year, from last year to this year.
Well, this college football Saturday, put one game on the big screen and put another game on your computer, tablet, or smartphone, and use Watch ESPN. Just download the app or go to watchespn.com and check out multiple games on multiple platforms. Sam Richardson back out there at quarterback. We have seen both he and Joel Lanning taking snaps today.
They made big plays in the passing game right now. That's been the difference for them staying in this ball game.
Lanning had the 74-yard touchdown pass, and now Richardson has been more accurate today. Funny how that works sometimes, even for the older guys, Anthony. You have a bad outing, and it gives you an opportunity to refocus and remember just how important every single Saturday is. And Richardson, according to the coaching staff, locked in during practice this week.
Yeah, and they wanted him to pick up his focus. They wanted him to read the defense, take what you give him. And again, right now, he's done a nice job. You look at the offense, 269 yards offense. It's been a nice balance for them, running and passing.
Warren won't get very far on that carry. Down to Paul.
Beth, I heard Tommy Mangino, the wide receiver coach, he said to his group of receivers, guys, when it is third down, they are dialing up a lot of pressure. You've seen, Anthony, a lot of these over-the-top passes. He thinks he's going to get a lot of one-on-one coverage in third down.
Well, they've worked on number 18, Nick Gore, on one side. Corey O'Malley's now switched over, and he's actually covering Lazard, number 5. So they're trying to come up with some scenarios right now to change it up on defense. Lazard here on the top. He's now being covered by number 2, O'Malley.
On first down, it's Warren. Gets out to the 39-yard line. Aaron Curry with the stop. Warren was slowed down a little bit in camp and didn't get many opportunities early on, Anthony. Bided his time, he was patient, waited, and then when the moment came in that Toledo game, he did well and the confidence grew, and he's sort of played himself back into shape. He'll catch his breath here. Trevor Ryan is now in a tailback. On second down with trips right. To the back, Ryan managed to stay on his feet, and he's out close to the first down. Looks like he stepped out around the 43. O'Malley was there.
Yeah, you know, Denzel Johnson's in an opportunistic spot to make that tackle. But number 19, Ryan's very fast. He's a shifty guy, does some jet sweep stuff. They like to move him across the formation. You got to really watch his hips when he catches the football so you can get the tackles on him.
Third and short. The give is to Warren, wrapped up in the backfield. Keeps the play alive. And the push forward gonna be just shy, looks like, by the spot.
Right now, Paul
Terrell
Rhodes.
Lathan was the first guy there, Anthony.
And right now, Paul Rhodes got to make a decision here. An opportunity to move the sticks, keep this offense on the field.
Richardson under center, the quarterback keeper, trying to scoot to the left side of the line. The spot has him right at the 45, which is the yard to gain. And they will move the chains. Fourth down on the fourth down conversion.
I like Rhodes' decision here. Offensive line coming up. You know you got an advantage up front. Got a big, strong quarterback to get you that first down again. Keep the possession rolling, keep the clock ticking, keep the ball in the offense's hands.
There are two offenses that have been tough to stop tonight. Richardson throwing deep. Lazard again tiptoeing down the sideline, and he stays in bounds for the catch inside the 30. Picking on Nick Orr again.
6'5", 223 pounds. Listen, we talked about the big receivers at TCU. Well, Lazard is just as big, and he can high point the ball also. Right now, they're going against number 18, Nick Orr, who's having some trouble right now. He's only 5'10", 180 pounds. A mismatch right now they're taking advantage of.
Lazard singled out to the top of your screen. Richardson running out of time and wrapped up back at the 35.
And he's done a nice job in the pocket, getting the ball out of his hands. Again there, TCU brings some pressure. Right here, he's launched the ball down the sidelines a few times. Didn't like what he saw. Caraway, though, gets the pressure, leads his team for TCU in sacks. Been one of their better defensive linemen this season.
4.5 now for him on the year. On 2nd and 15. Thomas with the carry. Tuaua couldn't finish him off, and he gets back down to about the 31-yard line. Traven Howard with the stop. So on 3rd and long, let's look for Lazard, number 5 in red. He's wide right. It is not Nick Orr on him, it's O'Mealy.
Yep. On the top of the screen right here, it's been a matchup. Now right here, look, this is where TCU makes an adjustment. They'll bring the safety over. Derek Kindred, number 26, to help out. Someone else on the bottom of the screen has to make a play, like Bumbridge, number 9.
Richardson will keep it flagged down behind him as he runs inside the 30.
That's going to be a hold. Number 56, the left tackle, who's in, rotating with Campos, the starter, 67.
J.P. Filbert.
Holding. Offense number 56. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay 3rd down.
They'll rotate their offensive lineman, and obviously right here, the left tackle. After the defensive lineman makes his move inside, he's going to run to the ball, and he's going to pull his jersey right there. It's a close one, but you saw the jersey pull.
Could not slow down Tuaua. So instead of declining the penalty to force the 4th down, which you know Iowa State's probably going to go for, they'll push him back. 3rd and 24. Lazard with the catch. Down to the 30 and a penalty flag.
This will be big, because if it's on the defense, that'll be an automatic 1st down.
Holding. Defense number 2. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic 1st down.
So instead of 4th and long, the holding penalty gives Iowa State the 1st down.
How aggressive do you want to be? He grabs his arm, gets the flag drawn. To me, you're in position to make a tackle after the slant. Just make the tackle. You're right on it. Good coverage. You compound it with the problem of grabbing his arm, and you give up a 1st down. Again, last week, Beth, 5 personal PIs last week, interference penalties on this defense.
Another long drive for Iowa State. This is the 10th play of the drive. Warren back in at tailback. They'll get the call. They've gotten a yard or so. It's been tough sledding so far for Mike. 13 carries, shy of 50 yards here in the 1st half.
Again, there's only 5 players in the box, so they feel like they have an advantage right there. They miss blocking the middle linebacker. And again, those are the things this offensive line, they have to take advantage of. When TCU gives you that moment, when there's only when you have the numbers, you got to be able to get positive yards on.
Usually averages over 8 yards a carry. He's under 4 so far in the first half. Warren will stay in and block. Give Richardson a little more time. Almost a fantastic one-handed grab by Bundridge on the goal line. This passing attack, Anthony, they know where Nick Orr is on every play.
A lot of off coverage right now. Give him some room and turn and run. He's in position now to make a play, and really it's about ball location, and Bundridge has done a nice job. Just a tough effort there to bring it in with one hand.
Back to 3rd and 8. Over 300 yards already here in the first half for the Cyclones. And incomplete. They tried to get Lazard to catch out in space. And now another penalty, which may allow the Cyclones to keep the drive alive. Are they going to look at a targeting situation here?
I'll tell you what, the angle that you see it, the defender really looks like he's struck with his helmet down low. Number 30, Denzel Johnson. Right here.
After the play, personal foul, targeting, defense number 32, half the distance to the goal, automatic first down. The previous play.
Yeah, they'll check this for sure, but that's helmet to helmet, folks. Lazard going down low for try to make that catch, and that's very obvious. That's a dangerous situation right there. With Johnson leading with his head first. Not a very good play, and ultimately might cost him his day.
Well, we've told you it's a defense depleted by injuries this year. 5 guys on the defensive side lost for the season. They have had a couple of guys return from injury, but if this is the end of the night for Johnson, they are very young. The 4 backups in the secondary are all freshmen for Gary Patterson, unless he's going to move some of the chess pieces around. The ruling ejection due to targeting for Denzel Johnson. On the offensive side, we have not yet seen the return of starters Josh Dotson and Cavante Turpin.
Is confirmed. It's targeting. It's number 30. Number 30 is disqualified.
And you talked about it, Beth. That's a huge loss for an already depleted defense. And you're talking about really going deep on your bench right now and bringing guys, number 1, that just don't have experience. They've lost Kenny Iloka, a senior, strong safety. He's out for the season. For Anthony Tejada, a sophomore starting corner, he's out. You're putting players in positions right now that don't have a lot of experience, and it's going to be tough, and it's been a strain for this TCU defense.
Looks like they'll go with 4 DBs, and they'll add another linebacker, Ty Summers. The run is Thomas. He's got a touchdown run already tonight. Tu'ua and Isahaku with the stop. They lost their linebackers, Douglas and Freeze early. Iloka went out with an injury. McFarland on the defensive line and Tejada at corner. They also graduated 6 guys that were all conference last year.
At some point, there's going to be some give on this defense. And one thing right now, Iowa State, this is a 6+ minute drive. Exactly what you want to do and put this defense on their heels.
They continue to keep Boykin on the sideline. Looking to take the lead yet again, and the ball is down on the deck, and they turn it over. Mike Tu'ua with the fumble recovery in the red zone for TCU.
What a risky play. You put yourself in a scenario, you get yourself in the red zone, they pitch it outside to a redshirt freshman who usually gets the handoff, fumble. Huge play by the defense of TCU.
I thought you said they got me.
The day in college football, as well as get you updated on how the Major League Baseball postseason went. Sports Center at night. Jays Royals and Cubs Mets updates for you after football this evening. 6 touchdowns, just 1 punt tonight, and now both teams with a red zone turnover after the fumble by Mike Warren on the pitch from his quarterback, Sam Richardson.
14 plays, 65 yards, you burn 7 minutes, and you don't get any points, Beth. That's brutal when you're talking about getting this TCU offense off kilter. Right now, they're going to try to do everything they can to get something going, to get their offense clicking.
Iowa State scored off of its fumble recovery, went 91 yards on the ensuing drive to score, and now TCU trying to do the same. They have Sean Nixon still in the game, but their other two big playmakers, Cavante Turpin and Josh Dotson, both hurt tonight. They have just 3 offensive linemen. They set up their tackle out wide as a receiver. How about some injury updates from Kirk?
Cavante Turpin, he's out for the game, upper body. Josh Dotson back in the game for the first time. He was in the locker room. He had a right hip injury. He's been working the bike, staying as loose as possible. He's to the right of Trevon Boykin.
102 yards and a touchdown catch tonight from Boykin, who has 3 TD strikes on the evening. Green takes the handoff, hit immediately at the 40 on the 3rd down carry, and he comes up short. Kawan Floyd with the big hit.
It's a great effort. Right now, this offense is pretty dynamic. They score a lot of points, and it looks like they're going to take it off the field and decide to punt, which would be huge for this Iowa State team and this defense right now.
First punt of the night for TCU and Ethan Perry. And will they give a chance for Lazard to handle this return? It's a short kick and the sliding fair catch made at the 30. Boykin disappointed. He walks off the field without points, and they give it back to Iowa State.
I'll get him on.
This tied up at 21.
Yeah, Coach Patterson talked about you got to be wary with special teams. When you're in Ames against Iowa State, get a huge play on the punt. They try to go the onside kick. They touch it early. Missed opportunity there, but they get this 4th and short. Again, they got to capture all those opportunities, Beth. You can't let one slip away like that last drive and fumble.
Paul Rhodes knew coming in they would have to try and score with TCU tonight. The overthrown pass intended for Ryan. For TCU, 21 points off of 25 plays. Their scoring drives all under 2 minutes tonight. Trevon Boykin, 3 touchdown passes. They have struggled on the road in league play this year. A couple of huge 4th quarter wins in the final 2 minutes engineered by Boykin at Texas Tech and at Kansas State. They were hoping to avoid a similar situation tonight, but Iowa State really doing a nice job of controlling the clock.
And this TCU defense, even though they've been pushed, they caused a turnover the last drive. And right now I'm seeing their defensive line win some of those one-on-one battles. Offensive line for Iowa State, very good, but put them in this 3rd and long situation. The big wide receivers on the outside, they've been going to them in these opportunities. Let's see if they can get another matchup.
On 3rd and 7. Warren trying to pick up the blitz. And then the pass behind the line of scrimmage. Richardson able to jump back on it. It looked like he tried to pass it to Mike Warren as he was about to get
The ruling
sacked.
on the field is an incomplete forward pass, 4th down.
Traven Howard is the guy that got him. They want to look at this, though. Is this a forward pass or a backward one? Would have a big difference in where the ball is spotted.
I'll tell you what, Beth, that's going to be close. Because I'll tell you, he throws the ball behind his foot. Watch the quarterback. He rolls out. He obviously sees the running back there. That ball's thrown behind the quarterback right now. They're not going to take a look at that. That's interesting when you look at that.
He got the ball back, but if it was a backward throw, it would have been back where he jumped on it. Instead, the punt will come back outside the 30-yard line. Colin Downing, standing at his 20, will boot it away.
Wow.
There is no Turpin back deep. He's out with an injury. 36 yards on the punt Trevon Boykin, 3 touchdown passes so far in the first half, set to go back to work. 5:14 to go.
The place to shop for money.
Okay. Awkward.
First and 10, TCU with the football. They are even with Iowa State at 21 apiece. The give is to Green. Leaps out across the 35 to about the 36. Pierre Aka with the tackle.
We talked to Doug Meacham before the game, and they really thought they had an advantage on getting on the perimeter in their run game. Right now, only 21 yards rushing. They've kept Aaron Green quiet, this Iowa State defense. Defensive line doing a nice job of winning with just 3 guys going against 5 offensive linemen.
Boykin keeps it, stays in the pocket. The pass to the far sideline. Listenby could not hang on as he was pushed out of bounds by Nigel Tribune. And it's 3rd and 8 on a night where TCU, unfortunately for them, seeing more injuries.
Your best receiver obviously gets knocked up a little bit. He's back in the football game. But I think the playmaker for them, Turpin, number 25, they love this true freshman. They do a lot of things with him in the pass game. He gets hurt on a toss in the run game, so he's down right now. And it looks like Listenby maybe got shaken up on that play too.
He got hurt against SMU. He missed a couple of games. Dotson has returned, but Turpin is out for the game.
Play is under further review.
And they are going to take another look at that last play and review it. I don't even think he caught the ball. They were looking at his feet to see if they were inbound, but watch the football. Pops out.
Again, never has possession of it. That's going to be an incomplete pass. It'll stay there, but you talked about the wide receiver. And look, if you're
after further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It's an incomplete pass, 3rd down.
If you're an offensive coordinator, you don't have as much trust maybe with some of your wide receivers. I know they talk about depth and the guys coming in, but this is the air raid offense. This is about timing. This is about being on the same page. And when you lose some of your weapons, you got to put other guys in. You know, what's that cohesion between Boykin and those players? Interesting to see how that falls into play as this game moves on.
3rd and 8, 5 receivers for Boykin to work with. Looking for Dotson. That's his first catch since coming back into the game, and he's got the first down out across midfield and 16 more yards.
They normally line him up outside there. They had him in the inside, the one-on-run inside route. Linebackers brought some pressure, left a void over the middle. Nice conversion and catch to move the chains.
Kyle Hicks now in at running back for TCU. They get the carry. Rolls down to about the 41-yard line. Willie Harvey was there to wrap him up. 4 minutes to go here in the first half. Listenby will be slotted left. Dotson is wide right with Nixon in the slot near side. Hicks with some room to run. Breaking tackles inside the 25 and down to the 22. Missed opportunity for Dale Pearson to make that a short gainer.
Yeah, perimeter run game. It's going to be key. They do a nice job of blocking the edge. Knopf, the left guard, gets around. Vaitai, the left tackle, creates those big holes for Hicks to get up the field.
Sonny Cumby called those junkyards. Get him out on the edge. Boykin shaking and baking. And then hauled down by Cotton Moya around the 15. 2nd and short, 7 more yards for Boykin. He's run for 26 here in the first half. Under 3 minutes to go. Over 600 yards combined offense now for both teams in the first half. We've seen just 2 punts tonight. A couple of turnovers, one aside in the red zone. Boykin. Dotson with the catch at the 6. And it's 1st and goal, TCU.
Run, pass options, that's what this offense is all about. He pulls it out, and look at the hands, plucking the ball, fingertip catch, is able to bring it in. And again, this is one of those things why you're the best receiver in college football, is your ability to catch those balls away from your body. 6'2", 6'3", got great length, and you see the length of those arms come into play in these games.
Over 1,000 yards receiving now on the season for Dotson in just the 7th game of the year. Looking to him again for his 2nd touchdown of the night, and it is a flag down in the end zone. Brian Peavy, the defender, as Dotson could not get back to the football.
Pass interference. Defense, number 10. Foul occurred in the end zone. Ball be placed at the 2-yard line. 1st and goal.
When you're this tight in the red zone and you have a poorly thrown ball by the quarterback, the DB gets put himself in a tough situation as the receiver's coming back. They can't turn around. You have the contact, and unfortunately that's going to be a PI every time.
Boykin running option right. The pitch to Green. Boykin trying to block. Green knocked out of bounds as the ball spurted out at the 1-yard line. Willie Harvey there to make the hit.
A lot of people in the box there, bringing it close to the line of scrimmage. Don't want to let that run be an option there. They had that pitch option to the outside. Defense slid across the field and never let the offensive line get that push off the line.
Under 2 minutes to go in the half. TCU looking for the lead. Dominic Maker, the tight end, is lined up in the backfield with Green. They will follow him, and Green cut down at the 2. And it's 3rd and goal. Luke Knott leading the charge along with Jordan Harris.
And a lot of numbers in the box here on the right-hand side. You know, to me, you got listen B, you got some tall receivers. Let some of this clock roll down.
There's a timeout called. The clock continues to run. We'll get that straightened out when we come back.
Brisket.
Right at 21. And for TCU, 3rd and goal. Dotson, the motion man. Boykin will keep. Boykin up the middle. And he doesn't get there. Denied at the 1-yard line. Jordan Harris had him low and didn't let him churn the legs toward the goal line.
I think they're going to go for a kick here. You're going to let the clock run down. Great stop by this Iowa State defense. Listen, anytime you can hold them to a potential field goal opportunity instead of a touchdown, that's going to be huge. Gary Patterson today being a little conservative. On that 4th and 1 earlier in the game, he decided to punt. Again here, defensive lineman get in the play, make the big tackle. Jordan Harris at the goal line.
Delay of game. Offense, number 2. Please set 6 seconds on the clock. 6 seconds.
So an opportunity for a field goal here for Jaden Oberchrome, who is tied for the TCU career lead with 65 makes, trying to set the mark all by himself. Gary Patterson, I think, arguing that there shouldn't have been as much time on the clock.
Yeah, and they obviously took the delayed game. They want to pull the ball back a little bit. It's a tough angle when the ball's in the college game, and those hashes, the wide hashes, give their kicker an opportunity for a better angle here to end the half.
Let's check in with the studio to see what's coming up at halftime.
All right, Beth, Outback halftime report coming up here in just a little bit. Butch Davis and Robert Smith will join me. We'll talk about the unbelievable finish in the Big House, Michigan, in Michigan State. You don't want to miss that if you haven't seen the highlights. Also, Alabama and A&M in an SEC tilt, and we'll go rapid-fire highlights as well with our no huddle. It's all coming up. Outback halftime report. We'll see you then.
Thank you very much, Chris. Michigan State stays undefeated. Texas A&M does not. And now Oberchrome with 6 seconds left on the clock. Going to be a 23-yard attempt. He's 7 of 10 on the season. Zach Allen is the holder. And the kick is good. 2 seconds remaining in the first half, and TCU takes the lead over Iowa State 24-21. Piece of the first from the playoff committee themselves. You've got them in right now?
I do have them in. You know, I think to me that they're one of the top teams. They have been decimated with injuries today. They're adding a couple more players to that list, but look at Iowa State. They probably played about as good as a half you can play. You got yourself down by 3 points. You missed some opportunities on special teams. You can go in at halftime, but you got to finish this football game.
45 points, 617 yards combined for these two teams. We'll hear from Coach Gary Patterson with Paul coming up on the Outback Steakhouse halftime report. Now to Chris, Robert, and Butch in the studio.
Thank you, Beth. As she said, Outback Steakhouse.
We continue this run of tight road contests throughout the season. Beth Mullins along with Anthony Becht. Paul Carcaterra is also with us tonight. Trevon Boykin, 3 touchdown passes in that first half, Anthony. And the defense, after allowing 21 points in the first quarter, they shut them out in the second.
I think the one thing, even though the yards are high, Iowa State's done a nice job of really keeping TCU off their targets and the way they want to run their offense. I think right now the biggest thing for them is they have to continue to be aggressive coming out in the second half. Paul Rhodes obviously has shown that.
Nixon on the return gets out across the 10-yard line. First half highlights. We saw a little bit of everything, including a 4th down fake punt.
Yeah, special teams, they've taken chances today. They got the fake punt, set them up, but the passing game down the field, okay? Getting the ball down the field, their big receivers, number 5, Lazard, has been huge in this football game. But TCU, again, the connections. Doxson on one side, you got the fastest wide receiver in football, Listenby on the other side. Those have been the differences in this ball game. And to me, when you watch it, Iowa State has to continue to keep the pressure on the quarterback and the receivers and win those contested balls.
Boykin takes the high snap and he'll keep it. Runs out across the 20-yard line. Dotson with a touchdown, over 100 yards receiving in the first half. He goes over 1,000 for the year, and his 11th touchdown catch ties his school record from a year ago after getting knocked out of the game for a while in that first half. They are without Cavante Turpin. He has been knocked out of the game. That happened on a play back in the first quarter. And for Boykin with the touchdown passes tonight, make it now 22 games in a row with a TD pass for the senior from Dallas, making his 36th career start tonight. Second and short. This is Green, met in the backfield and thrown for a loss by Damon Tucker.
Got to win your battles up front at the defensive line position. You only got 3 down linemen playing. You got to beat the offensive lineman in front of you and make big plays. Third and short in this opportunity. To me, when you're looking at this defense, Iowa State has to bring up a little pressure here. Contain the quarterback. Don't let Trevon Boykin beat you outside with his legs.
Boykin with some pressure coming. It's picked up. Listenby on the slant for the first down.
Get another nice catch by the receivers, really extending their arms away from their body. We saw Dotson earlier, and that ball right there catches it close to the turf, pulls it in on the slant.
Kyle Hicks now in the backfield.
Bring on the field was a completed catch. Previous play is under further review.
Stands right now as a first down catch for Listenby.
Showed the extension with his arms. The question is, does that ball touch the ground anywhere prior to catching? It looks right there. His right hand is not on the football. It looks like it hits the ground. Should have a good angle here to see it. It's going to be close.
Officials reviewing it. Does he keep the ball in control when it comes down on the ground and with his hand partially underneath it?
You know, it's tough because it looks like his left hand could be under the football here.
Yeah, and even with a little movement, it's not a certainty that it's an incompletion.
Right, and does it hit the ground? And if it doesn't and his hand is underneath, it looks like his bottom hand is actually clasping the ball against his chest. So it'd be tough to overturn it if they can't truly believe that that ball was loose when he hit the ground. So a great extension by him to really go out and get that football. A low throw by Boykin. But again, you've seen the receivers in this football game between him and Dotson make some spectacular grabs with their hands.
3 catches for 69 yards for Colby if this stands.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands.
So they didn't confirm it, but they did not find any evidence to overturn it, so it will stand, and it's first down, Horned Frogs. Boykin, who's been relied upon for some fourth-quarter heroics their last 2 road trips at Texas Tech and Kansas State. He has been dynamite late in games this year for TCU. Just underway here in the second half. They'll keep it on the ground. Out across the 30-yard line goes Green. Gain of 4. They've run for over 200 yards every game this year and have not put it together yet on the ground tonight. 68 yards on 19 carries. Boykin all night to throw and wide open down the seam. Inside the 25, Desmond White. 47 yards. And another big play for TCU.
Again, 3-man rush. If you don't get to the quarterback, Boykin's going to have all day to throw it. You can have some miscommunications on the back end. They lose with the receiver, and they get a huge play.
Green carries it down to the 16-yard line.
Yeah, you'll see the second receiver in. Run his route, and again, 3-man rush. You got to get to the quarterback. If not, you better be in the right spot on the back end. Strong safety's out of position to make a play on the football. And again, these big explosive plays, you can't give up as a defense. Last week against Texas Tech, they gave up 766 yards of offense. They got to stop those deep pass plays.
7 plays for TCU of over 20 yards tonight. State showing pressure from the right. TCU runs away from it. Hicks breaking tackles inside the 5, touchdown. And a flag is down at the 10-yard line.
During the run, holding, offense number 55. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay second down.
That's on the senior center, Joey Hunt. They're all Big 12 performer in the middle.
Right in the middle of the center, blocking down on the defensive tackle. Right there, his hands are caught on the jersey. You see number 99, Trent. Easy call for the referees.
Second down and 12. Play action. Boykin with time to Dotson at the 15, down to the 13-yard line. Run out of bounds by Floyd.
Those are the issues you run into. If you don't blitz, you give Boykin a ton of time for these receivers to run around and get their routes in. Again, you force another third down. It's third and short. To me, it'd be a little aggressive. 2 tight end package here. Sell and run to me right now. See if Iowa State get some guys up in the box.
Hicks with the carry. Trying to get that junkyard play to the outside, and he does. Scampers into the end zone for the touchdown.
Touchdown TCU, number 21.
Perimeter running. We talked about it early in this football game. It's going to be an outside zone read. Tight end does a nice job. Watch here, number 8. He gets the seal block on the outside, pushes the defender outside. And you know what? You're going to need a block from your receivers. Dotson does it all, getting his hands on the cornerback, Nigel Tribune, to spring the touchdown run by Hicks.
Hicks, the 4-star recruit out of Arlington, Texas, with his 3rd touchdown run of the season. The extra point is good from Oberchrome. Their first possession of the second half, and they put 7 on the board, Anthony.
Well, the running game hasn't gotten off to a good start. Hicks comes in, bounces it outside, and gets them off to a good start into the 3rd quarter, up 10.
Hicks, 13-yard TD run. The big play there, the 47-yard pass play to Desmond White. 8 different receivers Boykin has gone to tonight. They were able to run the ball a little bit better as well on that drive. Down to Paul Carcaterra.
Moments ago, I caught up with Iowa State coach Paul Rhodes. He told me his locker room is full of belief. Offensively, they've been successful through the air, 237 yards in that first half because they established the run. He wants to do that in the 3rd quarter. Defensively, stopping Josh Dotson, that's another story. He asked me if he had a 12th guy available to put on the field to cover 9 and White.
Yeah, that's something he brought up in our meetings yesterday. And, you know, listen, it puts a lot of stress on your defense when you got to go against a high-profile offense. But for me, Iowa State's impressed me offensively. The big plays down the field have not happened prior to this game. Number 5, Lazard, Bumbridge, number 9. These guys have been involved in the passing game, been a big difference keeping them in this football game.
21 first quarter points for Iowa State, and then their offense slowed down a bit in the 2nd quarter, trying to crank it back up. The pass caught by DeVario Montgomery. That first quarter, 206 yards passing, 262 total, but much quieter in the 2nd quarter. And as Paul Carcaterra alluded to with Paul Rhodes, they have not gotten Mike Warren going. 14 carries, 41 yards. They'll try again, and he may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. He also had the turnover in the red zone when Iowa State was driving deep.
Right now, the defense for TCU is really keeping them one-dimensional. But this TCU defense has not stopped the pass. Big receivers on both sides of the football. ISU has some 6'5" receivers himself. Got to keep feeding them the rock. They're going to have to make plays. Contested balls down the field when they take their chances. They got to come down with them.
Richardson looking for Lazard, and a penalty flag is down on the DB, Corey O'Mealy. Remember, they are down a defensive back, TCU, due to the targeting penalty and the ejection of Denzel Johnson, the safety, in the first half.
Pass interference. Defense, number 2. 15-yard penalty to the previous spot. Automatic. First down.
The problem in the defensive backfield is when you have big receivers, you got to get aggressive with them. And again, you cannot hold them at the waist there. You see the football, but the separation, Lazard does a nice job of getting away, giving himself an opportunity to catch the football. It's the 4th time a TCU defensive back has been penalized tonight, so they're stressing some of these young players playing right now in the back end for TCU.
Lazard's having a big night, 141 yards and a 74-yard touchdown catch. This, the first down carry. Howard and Summers in on the tackle. And the injured player is Daniel Burton, the starting right guard for the last 2 seasons. And they're going to bring in Wendell Tiese to replace him at right guard. Actually, Tiese will stay on the left side. Oniamoila will move from left guard to right guard. Play action. Blitz coming. They get to the quarterback ball is out. TCU recovers. It was Nick Orr on the corner blitz, and Josh Caraway able to jump on it. And the TCU defense creates its second turnover of the night.
Got to find ways on defense. Gary Patterson talked about it. Shaking up the quarterback position. And again, pressure is the way to get it done. Off the edge, they bring the cornerback. And it's been a tough day for Orr in the protection game, but he's able to get it done on the blitz when his number's dialed up for the big turnover.
TV. Call 1-800-DIRECTV. And Fairfield Inn & Suites. Stay amazing.
Iowa State scored touchdowns on 3 of their first 4 possessions, but since then, fumble, punt, and fumble. And they've given it back to TCU. The Horned Frogs scored on their first possession of this third quarter. Boykin back to business. Iowa State again showing that 3-4 alignment that Paul Rhodes and Wally Burnham converted to try and combat these high-powered offenses in the Big 12. The quick pass and a quick check with the studio.
All right, Beth, Anthony, time for the Dr. Pepper Championship Drive preview. Once again, Buckeyes starting off slow, but Zeke, you knew he was going to get it going here against Penn State. Over on ABC, Zeke takes it in to give the Buckeyes a 14-3 lead right now in the second quarter.
Thank you, Chris. Ohio State trying to stay atop the polls and stay undefeated. We've seen Michigan State, even though they've been winning, slide down the top 10. Another close call today as they hang on to beat Michigan. TCU, Gary Patterson has spoken openly about, we just want to win. We want to try and go undefeated. And if we do, the playoff will take care of itself. We're not concerned with style points. They've been tough to come by on the road this year for TCU. Trying to bust it open on this drive. Boykin, the out route to Austin.
Again, you look at that Michigan State game and how will they perceive that win and loss for both teams. You talk about the last play, special teams, offense and defense didn't really have much to do with that last play. So you talk about those losses, but now that's the second loss for Michigan. And Michigan State, again, it takes 3 phases to win a football game, and they took advantage of the situation. It's going to be a huge win, I think a huge motivation factor for them moving forward.
Boykin connects with White inside the 40. Tackle made by Jay Jones. Boykin very methodical. Gary Patterson talked to us about his professionalism after that Minnesota win to start out the season. Not quite as flashy. Much more focused, being a terrific leader for his teammates. Boykin keeps in trouble, and down he goes. Jordan Harris got him high after Dale Pearson took the low road.
Yeah, Dale Pearson's one of their impact players on defense, and he's holding on. And right there, you got to protect yourself as a quarterback. Harris comes in, finishes it up, and again, push him back in a 3rd and long situation. Got to find ways to get off the field. Wally Burnham right now has got to dial up a defensive play here to get his offense back on the field.
Boykin. Deep toss, down to the 15, incomplete. Nigel Tribune broke up the pass intended for Juwan Story.
It's a good play by number 34, Tribune. Watch him make a play on the football. Obviously his hands in there, he's tugging away. Juwan Story can't come down with it. And again, players now, Boykin's throwing to, expecting to make plays. Listen B, Dotson, those guys, new players coming in, and it's a great stop by this Iowa State defense, a much needed stop.
Carry on to punt to Alan Lazard, who's standing back at his own 10-yard line. He will step up and let that go over his head, and it's downed around the 6-yard line by Listenby. Can the Cyclones rediscover the offense that got 21 points on the board for them in the first quarter, but none since?
The NBA on ESPN returns.
It comes your way at 10 on ESPN. Also streaming live on Watch ESPN. Iowa State with the football. They trail third-ranked, undefeated TCU by 10. Midway through this third quarter. Crisp and chilly night here in Ames. Down to Paul Carcaterra.
Gary Patterson told us yesterday one of the 10 commandments: can't let the opposing team run. They've held Iowa State to only 73 yards rushing, but 233 through the air in that first half. He's been spending a ton of time with the defensive backs when they're off the field. Doesn't want to allow any of those back shoulder fades from the first half, Anthony.
Yeah, you're right, and they've really bottled up that run. They've gotten an extra defender in the box, whether it be a corner on the outside. Orr's done a nice job of getting into the run game, making some stops. And again, can they make this offense one-dimensional? So far, they have.
Very similar to what they did to K-State in the second half last week. The pass is caught out around the 12-yard line. TCU says they got the strip. Ty Summers has the football. Play apparently whistled dead. Forward progress had been stopped. This was, as Paul referenced, this was an Iowa State team that ran for 315 yards against Texas Tech in their last game. And you know, Gary Patterson, who's from the defensive side of the ball, one of the rare head coaches that's calling all the plays defensively, likes the improvement his team has made. On 3rd and 4. And the first down catch is made by Lazard as he continues his big night.
Any space that he gets between the defensive back and himself in those 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5 situations, you're going to take that slant all day. And what they're going to do is they'll keep working a slant, and then they'll go slant and go. Watch this all later in the game, see if they can get that going for them to spring a big play down the field like they had much in the first half.
He had the 74-yard touchdown catch out of the arm of Joel Lanning, the backup quarterback, who threw it to him. Richardson to Montgomery for the catch. How about the night for Lazard?
Huge plays. Obviously, he's a big target. 6'5", 223 pounds. But I think high point, you know, we talk about Dotson on TCU. He's done a really nice job of getting his body and using his frame to find the football today, and he's caught every ball that's come his way.
5 for 147, and now the burst from Mike Warren, the freshman, out close to midfield, wrapped up by Isahaku. First down, Iowa State, and a 21-yard run, his long of the night.
Ultra patient running back, lets his players here make their blocks. Watch how he watches the block go into play, keeps it tight against the line, and he breaks tackles up the field. That's what they love about him, his patience to see the blocks take place.
The receiver screen out into the flat to Dondre Daly. Sam Richardson trying to crank it back up to the way it was. Their first 4 drives, 252 yards. They got on the board 3 times with scores. Shut out since. It's back to Mike Warren into the grasp of Caraway.
Again, they're getting nice push up front at the line of scrimmage and getting those first and second down yards they need. And they talked about it. We'll take the 3rd and shorts. We want to get to those situations in the game. Saw some quick slants early.
Quick snap on 3rd and 3, and what a play to get out of the block and make the tackle by Nick Orr, and he's coming back here in the second half after Iowa State was picking on him in the first.
He's brought it in a tackling sense, being aggressive at the point of attack. Really just runs over the block of Montgomery in the outside and makes a great tackle and gets this offense off the field. It was putting together a nice drive for Iowa State.
He just ran through a guy who was 6'6", 213. Orr's only 5'10", $180. Nice play by the corner. And now the punt from Iowa State. That was the pooch punter, Holden Kramer. And the fair catch is made at the 15 by White. 3:15 to play here in the third. A 10-point lead for TCU, trying to get to 7-0 and a bye week coming up next week to try and get healthier.
Iowa State's done a nice job of making some stops. Their offense has to convert and put drives together. If you don't score, you're just giving TCU more chances, and eventually they're going to beat you with a big play. We saw a huge explosive play last series. Let's see if Boykin tries to attack this vulnerable Iowa State defense.
This is on Green on the run. Maybe got a yard. Interesting to note, too, for both these coaches trying to survive in the Big 12 with the high-scoring offenses. Last year, Gary Patterson switches to the air raid, Anthony, and Paul Rhodes switches to the 3-4 defense to try and slow down these big attacks.
Yeah, it's the growing trend right now in the Big 12. If you're a defensive side of the ball, you have to make changes and try to find ways to slow down the Big Three and in Baylor and the West Virginias and the TCUs and the Texas Techs that can put up big points.
Boykin somehow found Dotson in traffic. And the toss. Dotson coming back from the hip injury. We've seen him getting heat on his hip over on the sideline. 9 catches now, and he's close to 150 yards.
That's a nice job by Boykin, really hitting that slant in the second window, finding the open receiver. Look at those numbers. I feel like it's been quiet for him, but 9 catches, 148 yards, just a big play receiver.
Boykin again given time and finding White. Out to the 35-yard line. Brian Mills with the stop. I think his forward progress will be enough to move the chains for TCU.
You see him going through his progressions. It's not just Dotson every play, Listenby. It's other guys. It's White. It's the players that come in, and Nixon, number 3. Different guys getting the ball. Even the tight ends got in some action today in this air raid attack.
Boykin, 355 yards, 3 touchdowns. On the move. Run out of bounds at the 40.
Coaches most impressed about Trevon Boykin? Yeah, it's his feet and his arms, but it's the mental capacity. He is the last one with the dry erase marker. He's been outstanding at changing calls on the fly. Offensive coordinator Sonny Crumby says the development mentally of Trevon Boykin off the charts.
Yeah, they talked about it before the game. Doug Meacham, too, said, listen, he's going to wow the scouts next year with his football acumen. That's the biggest thing. When you look at him, he's improved the most. And coaches are going to look at this air raid offense the way he runs it. Can he read defenses? Can he make those throws? And he's done that.
He set up the screen for Hicks, and a flag down on the play as Hicks is short of the first down marker. Appears to be a holding penalty as the officials get together. On the offense or the defense?
Holding defense number 45, holding the back coming out of the backfield. That's a 10-yard penalty. Yardage results in a first down.
That's Dale Pearson, the senior, the sack mamba, as he refers to himself.
He reads it out. He sees what's going on. He's actually getting pulled by the offensive lineman. Don't really see where they held the lineman up there. But again, it was a good read by him. They just call him for grabbing the running back.
And that will result in a first down for TCU, now out across midfield. Hicks will line up as a receiver. Pressure coming. Boykin pass away, caught by Listenby to the 45 for a short gain. Nigel Tribune with the coverage.
Again, Iowa State's defense not giving up the big explosive plays on series to series, which is a big improvement from last week.
Boykin stepping up, staying behind the line of scrimmage to deliver the completion to White to the 30-yard line and a first down. 15 more yards for TCU.
The problem right now is getting to the quarterback when you're rushing 3 or 4 players. Right now, not getting to Boykin.
Pre-snap flags. Had movement on both sides here.
False start. Offense. Number 68. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's Joseph Noteboom, the right tackle.
He's the first-year starter of this offensive line. Really a proven line with some experience, and really gets the unsung heroes of this TCU offense getting the protection for Boykin and Spring and Aaron Reed, who Iowa State's done a nice job of really locking down today with the running game.
Green returns to the backfield. Boykin will keep it. Tries to counter. Down to about the 25-yard line. That may take care of the third quarter. Darius White with the tackle.
Iowa State showed it there. They were going to bring blitz on that run. They kind of fell back and then came back in. If you're going to hit it, hit it. You're not hiding anything right now. They got to go make chances and take chances with this defense.
Monday on ESPN.
Fourth quarter set to start. TCU 17 unanswered points to open up the 10-point advantage at Iowa State. Trevon Boykin on the move inside the 10, the 5, and down to the 4-yard line. And it's first and goal. Horned Frogs. He has been terrific in the fourth quarter for TCU. 99.1 his quarterback rating in the final stands, including the big comeback win against K-State and the win over Texas Tech.
Yeah, it's been real on the road for them. Teams have played them tight. They've done well at home, but it's been a challenge on the road so far. When you've got the sticker on your back that says you're number 3 and the number 1 in the conference, they're coming at you.
Boykin on the carry into the end zone, touchdown. 24 unanswered points for TCU as he fouled behind Kyle Hicks.
Design quarterback run, just a simple outside zone play. Pull the running back out of the backfield, and again, 2 plays in a row. Boykin beat you with his legs. Offensive line, they got numbers in the box. Everybody's blocking up front. It's really a walk-in for Boykin. And this Iowa State defense right now starting to kind of wear down after playing extremely hard for 3 quarters so far in this game.
Boykin now with the 3 touchdown passes and a 1-yard touchdown run. 446 yards total on the night for Trevon. And they've opened up the 38-21 lead here early in the fourth quarter. A good night for Trevon Boykin with 3 touchdown passes, 1 touchdown run. Josh Dotson, a record-setting night as he has reset his records from a year ago for receptions, touchdown catches, and single season yardage, and a big hit. Boykin likes it. How about an update from the SEC, Chris?
About a couple of big plays. Let's start with the Florida game over on ESPN on the punt return. Antonio Callaway keeps his feet, keeps his head about him, and goes to the house. 28 all right now after 3 in Baton Rouge on ESPN. Florida hanging in there. Meanwhile, Cody Kessler takes to the air and finds Taylor McNamara, SC, with the lead over Notre Dame in the third, guys.
Thank you, Chris. Back to Sam Richardson here at quarterback. And as the time comes, Anthony, for them to start throwing the ball a little bit. Richardson eludes the rush, dumps it off to Joshua Thomas. And out across the 30-yard line. And the injured player is Thomas at the end of the play. Caraway and Wilson were both there.
Watch Kindred. Oh, what a shot. Senior leader on this defense, only returner. Boykin obviously loves it, staying involved in the game. He's like, well, I've been doing a lot of things today. Everybody's been wowing me.
Lost to Alabama today to fall from the unbeaten ranks. Joshua Thomas was the injured player who got to the sideline for Iowa State. This is Mike Warren back into the game on the carry. Well, the Buckeyes are winning right now. Clemson is winning. Michigan State, that thrilling win over Michigan. Alabama impressive as well.
Yeah, that big matchup, LSU, Florida right now, that's all tied up. And you go back to Alabama, you know, they had that win, a close win against Ole Miss. Memphis beats Ole Miss. Now you got to start tying together how much wins mean, who beat who, and that'll kind of be the big shuffle when you're talking about the college football committee getting together and figuring out who those top 5, top 10 teams are.
Pass intended for Lazard, incomplete. They will start convening in early November. And of course, it all builds up to early December when we find out the 4 playoff teams. So much will possibly ride on that TCU Baylor game in late November. It will be the final game of the regular season for TCU. Baylor will have to play Texas the following week in early December. And of course, the Oklahomas are still in the mix. Undefeated Oklahoma State and the Sooners, who destroyed K-State today. Baker Mayfield had 5 touchdowns. And the pass intended for Lazard, and the interference on O'Mealy. Excuse me, that was for Montgomery.
Pass interference. Defense, number 2. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
It's been a tough day for the defensive backs here. Obviously, get yourself around, can't jump into the wide receiver, you lose your feet. It's the 5th penalty now on the secondary, and listen, it's a bewildered bunch. They've lost some guys through injuries. They got some guys playing that normally wouldn't be playing. Coach even said it. So there's some guys on the field that probably are getting more reps than they actually should have just because of their depth issues. But it's a learning experience right now with this football team.
The pump fake, and Richardson had Bundridge behind the D and overthrew him. They also, TCU lost Denzel Johnson to the targeting foul and the ejection in the first half.
Richardson has a chance there. You got to make that connection there. 5th-year senior. Again, I know it's hard to come in and you make those plays, but you know, the accuracy has been the issue right now, and you got to have those plays and connections when you're going against the number 3 team in the nation.
Into the flat, and a first down catch for Montgomery. Down to the 36-yard line. Gain of 11.
Again, there shouldn't be anything stopping this Iowa State offense and taking those shots to where they have the leverage, whether it's a tight coverage, man-to-man, up front bump coverage. Work that defender and try to get the play. They're getting the flags right now.
Warren runs into a wall. This Iowa State team had the lead for a while in the first quarter, led it 21-14, and since then 24 unanswered by TCU to come roaring back. On 2nd and 10, Richardson. Montgomery couldn't hold it. How about a Buckeye update, Chris?
All right, Beth, speaking of unanswered points, Ohio State has scored 21 unanswered after falling behind Penn State 3-0 in the first quarter. All 3 touchdowns, including this one by J.T. Barrett, coming in the second quarter, 21-3 over on ABC.
Thank you, Chris. On the 3rd down pass play, incomplete from Richardson under duress with Josh Caraway coming right at him.
He's their big sack guy. He's got one earlier in the football game. And there was an eligible receiver in the area. You couldn't hear the referee there. So Richardson's able to get out of his hands. But again, 4th down. We're going to take a chance here, and down 17, 12:36 left. Again, one-on-one coverage. Who's got the tightest coverage against them? I'm going to that wide receiver. I go the wide side of the field here. Got number 9 Bundridge on the bottom.
2 for 2 on 4th down tonight. Inside the 25, and it looks like it's going to be 3 for 3 on the catch for Bundridge. First down, Iowa State.
Well, like earlier in the game, Richardson, when he's attacking that the line there, and he looks like he's going to run it, the defenders kind of get lost in space. Bundridge again able to be in a position to make a catch to move the chains. Huge 4th down conversion for this team to move the ball.
Warren. It has been tough sledding for Mike. 22 carries now, under 80 yards. Ty Summers with the big hit, and Warren is slow to get up. Coming into the ball game tonight, Mike Warren, the top rushing freshman in the country. Did he twist that ankle?
Gets caught under Summers. 42, the linebacker's tackle. His body rolls up on his leg. Then we saw Thomas, the freshman running back, get banged up. Looks like he's run back into the game. Take his place. Watch Summers there, wraps up on him. Again, your foot gets caught under there, and that hurts. Situations like that, trying to go down as a runner, but you can't get your body to fall, and your leg gets caught underneath. Hopefully be okay.
Warren did have the 4-yard touchdown run back in the first quarter, their last score. Walking gingerly to the sideline. And Thomas will come back into the ball game. He was hurt earlier. In the backfield with Trevor Ryan. So a true freshman and a sophomore alongside Richardson in the backfield. Looking for Lazard. He's got him. Ball pops out at the end of the play. It's down on the deck. TCU's got it. Scooped up by Bradley. And the big fella's staying on his feet. Bradley all the way out across the 45-yard line. Third turnover for the TCU D. 2 of them in the red zone tonight for Iowa State.
Well, the question is, you know, was he down when he had the
The
football?
rule of the field is fumble recovered by the defense.
Catches it.
First down.
Knee is down.
Knee is
so
down.
yeah.
Coming back.
Then you see number 2 strip it out. So that's going to be a
Rule of
catch.
the field was a fumble. The previous play is under further review.
It's a great camera angle there to actually see it. TCU obviously feel like they made a good play,
Yeah.
but
Well, it looked to them like Lazard landed on the defender and not touched the ground.
yeah, right here it's clearly knee hits ground here, right there. He's got the ball to his body,
Yeah.
rolls over. Now the question is, will they call it a completion there when he strips the ball out? Did he actually finish the catch all the way through? Yeah, his knee's down, ball's in his hands, he's rolling over, ball pops out because Millie does a good job of stripping it as he's falling down. So but I'll tell you what, even if it doesn't count, the big man showed you some elusiveness.
Wow, Chris Bradley representing Shreveport on that return, huh?
Running down the field, showing the moves. Saying, Coach, give me some reps in that backfield.
Our referee tonight, Mike DeFee, and his crew have done a good job here this evening. We had that really bizarre play in the end zone. Could have been a touchdown, could have been an interception, ruled an incompletion. And the right call coming from the officials there. Let's see what they've got here.
Knee down. I don't even know if we're going to have a completion in that situation there. Not being able to continue and hold on to that football. Definitely won't be a turnover for sure. Gary Patterson, everything really against him here as a defensive coordinator, trying to get these players in the right spots. He's got multiple injuries, graduated a bunch of strong all-conference players from last year.
If this comes back and it's an incompletion, it would set up a 3rd down and long. Well, 3rd down and 9.
Taking their time here. Ready to make a decision here.
after further review, the receiver was going to the ground and lost control. It's an incomplete pass. It's going to be 3rd down and 9 at the 23-yard line. Please set the game clock to 11:31. 11:31, please.
So there you have it.
3rd down and 9, and it's still Iowa State football. Just outside the red zone, 11:31 to go. And the Cyclones find themselves down 17.
Well, you got 2 plays to get 9 yards, so you don't have to think about getting them all here. I will say this, though, if you have an opportunity to get the big one down the field because of some tight coverage, number 5 at the top of your screen right here, Lazard, he's your go-to guy, and there's no safety help if he gets a chance to run by the cornerback.
O'Mealy's the guy on coverage duty out there. Now they'll slip Kindred over that way, the safety. Richardson looking that way for Lazard. Into the double coverage, and it's batted away by Corey O'Mealy. 4th down.
Nice play by O'Mealy. Gets his body around now, turns his head, and is able to knock it away. And again, if you got a 6'5" receiver out there, Beth, get it high, let him jump up for it. You're going against a guy that's 6 foot, 5'11". Give yourself a receiver an opportunity to make a play.
Trips right for Richardson. Going to drop it off to his back, and slipping down is Thomas. And behind him, a penalty flag as well.
It's going to be on Iowa State. They'll decline this.
Holding. Offense number 56. Penalties declined. Ball goes over on down. Don't talk. Ball goes over on downs. 1st down.
Gives
TCU will take it. J.P. Filbert thought otherwise, but he's overruled. And TCU, with 24 unanswered points in their favor, will have the ball back. Turning it over on downs to TCU, 1st and 10 from their own 26-yard line, with Kyle Hicks alongside Trevon Boykin. Over 400 yards of total offense today. 3 touchdown passes, 1 on the ground, and Boykin back to the air. And he hooks up with Colby Listenby, and a missed tackle later, and he's out across the 45. Listenby now joining Dotson in the 100-yard receiving club tonight.
Talk about accuracy. Right now, Boykin is 26 for 31, folks. That's just a shy under 85% completion percentage. So talk about the improvements he's made year to year. That's a big one they talk about, is the accuracy as a quarterback.
Size certainly will be an issue trying to move on to the NFL. Some folks think he may have to change positions. Your thoughts on Boykin moving on next year?
Well, the coaches were selling me pretty heavy on that. You know, he's a guy that they're going to be pleasantly surprised. You know, they're going to sit down in a meeting, they're going to break down some film, and they're going to like what they see from the mental side of this kid. And they love the competitiveness that he has. He said he's the first one in, last one out. They love how he's improved himself. And yeah, we call it the air raid, but Doug Meacham, the offensive coordinator, said, listen, you know, we've made some wrinkles where he's got to make real decisions for us, whether it's reading the defense, looking for the numbers, where to run each side, calling off a run and getting to the pass. Made some big plays last week in that Kansas State game as he led them back in the 4th quarter. So he's doing things that a real quarterback that you see on Sundays is doing. I think he's going to stick and take a chance with that with the position next year.
Well, he's not going anywhere just yet. He's trying to get TCU to 7-0. And trying to get their first national championship and their first Heisman Trophy since 1938.
Get it to your best players. Dotson, Listenby. I mean, he's been incredible. He's got that flick. It reminds me of Mike Vick a little bit when he's throwing that football, but he can do it all with his legs, his arm. He's smart. I'll tell you what, for now, I'm going to enjoy him for college football because he's been a tremendous player to watch. He's really turned it over and made this TCU a dominant offense when so many years Coach Patterson's had this team one of the best defenses in the country.
Just 1 incompletion here in the second half for Boykin. And he will wisely run it out of bounds.
You two mentioned the Heisman Trophy. This is all you need to know about Trevone Boykin. His 350 pass yards, 61 rush yards per game. Better than RG3's Heisman season, better than Johnny Manziel's Heisman season.
It's impressive. You look at those numbers, and when you're talking about players like that, listen, that's definitely a call. And he's going to be up there. Obviously, Leonard Fournette is doing some things on the ground that's been incredible. But right now, Trevone Boykin has been a great leader, a great player, and he's getting this TCU team ready to go for these big games coming up towards the end of the season.
Dotson taken off inside the 10 and down the sideline for the touchdown. His second of the night, Trevone Boykin's fourth of the evening. And these two continue to be an electric combo, second only to Seth Russell and Corey Coleman at Baylor in terms of their productivity and their touchdowns.
Dotson's had a banged up hip in this game, and he still really just can take it over at any time. Tremendous receiver again throughout this whole game. 10 catches, 190 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, these are tremendous weapons when they're healthy around Boykin.
Breaking his old records for receiving yards, rushing touchdowns. He got knocked out of the game earlier. Needed some attention, went to the heat on a sore hip. Didn't keep him on the sideline for long. 10 catches, $190 in this, his second touchdown.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Scion. Premium standard features that actually come standard. Weird, right?
A 42-yard touchdown strike, Trevone Boykin to Josh Dotson. And that would be the 12th time this season those two have paired up. 31 unanswered points for TCU. Boykin now over 500 yards of total offense this evening with 5 touchdowns. How about a Florida LSU update, Chris?
Okay, over on ESPN, leave it to the hat, right? 33-yard field goal attempt for LSU. It's a fake. Trent Domingue takes it to the house for the Tigers. 35-28 right now. Close one still, though, over on ESPN.
Thank you, Chris. Well, a lot of folks think that Fournette is the guy to beat right now in the Heisman chase going into the game tonight. He was already over 1,000 yards rushing, and certainly Trevone Boykin would be right there alongside him and maybe inching ahead this evening.
How many special teams plays have we seen today in college football have made a difference in football games? You look at that LSU game there, the Michigan State game, Iowa State getting in the move here to try it early to keep this game close. Again, a phase we rarely ever talk about, but obviously can be a huge difference in football games.
You think we'll see more of Boykin tonight? 8.5 to go with the big advantage. Certainly you don't need to run up any statistics or anything like that at this point. I think that's one of the things that TCU wants to get into the bye week and get healthy again. An impressive offensive showing. And the defense has done a nice job since the first quarter. But when we take a closer look at the Heisman watch with Fournette, Boykin, Zeke Elliott, and Dalvin Cook. Cook was up over 160 yards today.
You know, all these guys have had tremendous seasons. I mean, Cook really doesn't get the carries like the other backs, but he's been getting the huge yards and carrying Florida State on his back. Zeke Elliott, obviously, he's been the mainstay with the movement in the quarterback situation. Ohio State, he's been the one thing that's kind of been week to week the most consistent.
Richardson pulled down at the 29-yard line by Caraway. You surprised we didn't see more of Lanning at all in the second half? Richardson was managing things pretty well, but it's been rough since that first quarter.
Yeah, you know, he's only really come in for 1 or 2 series the last 2 games, and really as a runner. You know, that's the first time I've actually seen them open it up and let him pass. They made a big play. I don't know if there really is a quarterback per se controversy, but you know, to me, he brought a nice spark. I think that's what they're asking him to do when he comes into the football game. But I think they're going to ride it out. Listen, Richardson's a kid. He's been here, a 5th-year senior. He's made some big plays, got it to his big play receivers. I think they can even do it more in this football game. But they got the weapons around him I think they're going to surprise some teams moving forward.
Richardson connects with Quentin Bundridge. And Iowa State's got a first down out across midfield, 21 yards on that hookup.
And this defense for TCU, obviously, when they get these big leads, 20, 25, 26, 30 points, they're going to be tested in the back end. So they get a lot of reps in protecting and trying to challenge wide receivers and be better in coverage. And that's honestly something they dearly need as they get closer to bigger games when they start playing West Virginia in 12 days. And obviously Baylor, the big showdown, if both of those teams can finish strong and have that big competition at the end of the season.
On this series, by the way, both teams now have combined for over 1,000 yards of total offense today. Iowa State has Baylor next up. It's homecoming weekend down on the Brazos. They'll head down to McLean Stadium to face Baylor. Oh, nice catch there by Quentin Bundridge. And another first down. Stick around for SportsCenter at night following Arizona State, Utah this evening. I've got a full breakdown of the day in college football. If you haven't seen it yet, you have to see the finish of Michigan State, as well as Major League Baseball playoff highlights for you at SportsCenter at night. TCU baseball. Dick Arrieta is going to be pitching, I believe, for the Cubs tomorrow in Game 2. Lester throwing tonight against the Mets in Game 1 of the NLCS. Mets are up 4-1 in that one in New York.
Number 9 never got set prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty, second down.
You talked about that stretch of games. Iowa State, they were at Texas Tech last week. They got TCU today. Next week at Baylor. I mean, you want to talk about stressing a defensive coordinator out. Wally Burnham trying to, get his guys today, make some play. I thought they did enough. It's really all these yards Iowa State's gotten. I feel like they should get more points today, Beth. Just weren't able to kind of cap off a few of those drives. They had that long drive earlier in the game. They weren't able to capitalize, got a few turnovers, and that's the big difference. You set yourself up to make some plays in special teams. You get some. You get the excitement going in the building. You get the fans behind it. And then when you get those extra chances to punch in and make those points, you don't do it. And you can't give a lot of wiggle room to teams like TCU.
Well, it's of little consolation to old football guys like Wally Burnham, but you're looking right now at the possibility. Your 4 losses, 3 of them would be to teams that are still unbeaten. TCU, Iowa, and Toledo. The Hawkeyes and Toledo were both winners. They're both unbeaten. And then after the Baylor game, you still have to face Texas, Oklahoma State, and Oklahoma.
And they're much better suited on defense to play those Toledo teams, running teams. Also Iowa, keeping those games closer, but their offenses improve. I just think tonight, they weren't able to capitalize on a few extra opportunities. And when it's it, you got to make the most out of all of them when you play a team like Baylor, TCU, and Texas Tech, because they're going to continue to score and be aggressive on their side of football. And today with Boykin, just too much for this team.
Ball start. Offense, number 67. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
And after the penalty, that'll set Iowa State back. Still going to be 4th down. It's a young defensive unit, undersized, but Gary Patterson was telling us we don't have to be bigger. We just have to be faster, more athletic.
They're playing 29 freshmen and redshirt freshmen right now, mainly on the defensive side of the ball.
Almost came up with an interception right there. Let's get a Notre Dame update tonight against SC, Chris.
Pretty darn good game in South Bend. CJ Procise will not be denied for the Irish here. Working his way into the end zone. That's his 2nd touchdown of the night. All tied at 31 apiece in the 4th quarter. Meanwhile, coming up next year on ESPN2, Vernon Adams going to get the start tonight for Oregon in Washington, playing against a pretty good Husky defense. They'll kick in about 10.5 minutes, and they'll start on ESPN News, guys.
All right, thank you very much. Well, out there in Pac-12 country right now, you got undefeated Utah, and you got a very good Stanford team. as TCU takes over here on downs, 1st and 10.
Boykin's still in the game here. At the quarterback position, might be doing a heavy dose of this, though. Hand it off.
That's Travaris Johnson, the sophomore from Houston, coming in. Now Boykin, who had that huge comeback last week for TCU against Kansas State, got a handwritten note from Coach Snyder of K-State. Congratulations, Trevon, proud of you as a person and a leader, as well as a great player. Admire your performance and poise in bringing your team back to win. Success and good fortune to you. Please share my congrats with your teammates. They were excellent in coming back in the second half. Signed, Coach Snyder.
How about that Twitter? It's a long one there for Trevon Boykin.
Boykin.
Good Lord.
Another handoff to Johnson. Well, you got to go back to the days of Davy O'Brien in the 30s. Their Heisman Trophy winner, and the numbers that Boykin putting up. He was responsible for 4 TDs last week, and tonight 4 passing touchdowns, another rushing touchdown. Over 450 yards of total offense for him. He had a 500-yard passing night against Texas Tech. He had 5 touchdowns in their win against SMU.
I think the one thing for me that's more impressive is his accuracy tonight. Close to 85%. I mean, that's impressive, folks. Distributing the ball to his receivers, reading the football field. He's really improved himself at the quarterback position. Remember, this guy was a running back, a wide receiver early in his career, and he's done a nice job of coming around.
2/3 of our planet is covered in it. So why do nearly 800 million people...
At quarterback for the Horned Frogs, Bram Kohlhausen, the senior from Houston, is on to replace Boykin. Well, as we get closer to wrapping up a college football Saturday, we'll get you ready for the NFL tomorrow morning. First NFL Insider Sunday edition with injury news, fantasy updates, and early breaking stories at 10 Eastern. Then at 11, Sunday NFL Countdown with Boomer and the boys on ESPN and on your Watch ESPN app. Boykin's night ends his 6th career 400-yard passing game with 436 and the 4 TDs. 510 yards of total offense. Dotson, another record-breaking night. 10 catches, 190 yards, 2 touchdowns. He broke his records from a year ago for receiving yards and receiving touchdowns, as he looks to close out his career on a high note here over the next several months. And Todd McShay's got him, what, top 3 right now in terms of wide receivers for the draft, possibly next spring. Johnson again on the carry.
Yeah, Beth, Todd McShay had him ranked the 3rd highest rated draft eligible receiver. Said he's the best in the country when the ball's in the air. He does an outstanding job of tracking the ball, adjusting his body, and high pointing the ball. And Anthony, you've been in the league for 12 years, the NFL. Who does he compare to you at that next level?
Well, there's a couple guys, Paul. You know, you look at Jordan Matthews, a complete wide receiver, doesn't have break-end speed, but can do a lot of great things. You think of the air raid offense, Michael Crabtree from Texas Tech, a guy that can catch every single ball. He's got great hands and high points. You know, when you go back, you think of Chris Carter, a guy that has the size. He's always catching the ball at this highest point. He's a kid that can do everything. And to me, you know, I have no problem taking this kid in the 1st round. Absolutely, for sure, a high 2nd. And he's going to be an impressive player when he gets those opportunities to work in front of the scouts and the teams after his season's over.
Iowa State led this game back in the 1st quarter, 21-14. And then 31 unanswered points for the TCU offense, and a shutout over 3 quarters for the TCU defense tonight. They'll take a break next week, and then the rest of their schedule, they do not have to get on a plane the rest of the regular season. Their road trips will be bus rides. Otherwise, they'll stay at home in Fort Worth to take on West Virginia, Kansas, and that huge showdown looming with Baylor on November 27th. What do you like their chances there the rest of the way to stay unbeaten?
Well, I'll say this Oklahoma State game, not a lot of people are talking about what they're doing right now. They continue to churn off wins. They get by that team, and of course you got West Virginia there in 12 days. A lot of time. Obviously, West Virginia took a thumping today by Baylor. It's always tough when you don't have your best defensive player, Carl Joseph, the strong safety of West Virginia. But right now, I think TCU offensively has a ton of different moving parts that they can really hang. But you're right, that Baylor game to me is going to be some show. If both of those teams can stay on track, that'll almost be like the conference championship that they don't have right now in the Big 12.
Looks like TCU's stretch of 5 straight games of scoring over 50 points may come to an end here tonight, but 45 on the board against Iowa State, and much more important for the Horned Frogs, on the verge now of moving to 7-0 on the season. And they will hope that the injury to Kevontae Turpin is not serious enough that he won't be able to come back. A late flag here in the closing seconds. Iowa State will fall to 2-4, and then they will finish up this stretch, the top 3 scoring teams in the country from...
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 29. After distance to the goal, automatic first down.
From Texas Tech to TCU and then to Baylor.
Brutal stretch, but you're right about Turpin. He's a player that they're going to need back. He's an important person, true freshman, but they use him quite a bit.
That'll do it. TCU a winner 45-21 over Iowa State. So now let's get you to Oregon and Washington.